Uh, yeah, okay, this is gonna be, yeah, this is hard. So Ready Player One, the movie based on the extremely popular book, is out in theaters. And though lots of people are loving this movie, I gotta be real, I'm kind of struggling with how I feel about it. But if you're curious whether it's worth checking out, or you just wanna know what all the hype is about, I'm Gary Mitchell, and here is the real scoop about Ready Player One. Before we get started, for the next couple of weeks, I'm actually doing a 4-part video series about Ready Player One, as part of my Geek Theology series, concluding with the music video for a song I wrote about Ready Player One that sounds like this.
I don't care if it's not real, it's everything to me.
So make sure you subscribe and click that little bell icon down below so you don't miss anything. So normally this is where I give a brief summary of what Ready Player One is all about, but like I just said, I actually already did a short video explaining the plot and the characters of the book. So if you haven't already, take 3 minutes and go watch that video before you come back and finish this one. Ready, go. Okay, back? Still here? Cool, here we go. First of all, if you read and loved the book like I did, there's a decent chance that you're gonna hate this movie. What Spielberg has done here is he's plucked the primary characters, plot elements, and a couple of key items and events out of the book and used them as raw ingredients to create a completely original story that only vaguely resembles the one in the book. This movie isn't even really an adaptation so much as a reimagining of the source material. Some people are gonna be fine with that. Some people will not. When we went to see it, my fiance, who's probably read this book like 8 times, hated this movie. Now, that being said, this is an action sci-fi adventure movie that is entertaining and immersive. The CGI, special effects, and cinematography are a feast for the eyes. The action is intense, dynamically shot, and bends the laws of physics as only a virtual universe can. Gamers and sci-fi geeks in particular will love how the MMO aspects of the Oasis are realized. More than half the movie takes place in the totally CGI Oasis, and the characters look more real, vibrant, and expressive than they do in the real world. And I don't mention this very often, but this movie also sounds great. The sound design is punchy and crunchy and in your face, so you feel every explosion, every punch, every car or building that gets crushed. And the score and the soundtrack are not only epic, but especially if you're over a certain age, will put a smile on your face by taking you back in time. Which leads me to one of the most important aspects of this film that they actually did get right from the book, and that is the joyful celebration of pop culture that's on display. The virtual world called the Oasis is absolutely littered with characters from video games, TV shows, cartoons. Classic movie characters like King Kong, RoboCop, and Chucky move in and out of frames with Ninja Turtles, Gundam mechs, and comic book characters. It's the kind of movie you're gonna want to own someday just so you can pause every single frame and count the number of characters and references that you see. Even the story itself seems like a joyful celebration of fandom. But I also feel like that story felt a little rushed sometimes and doesn't even really make a whole lot of sense in places. I was definitely taken aback at how completely different from the book the plot here is, but even the story they're telling here seems to gloss over certain things or avoid answering certain questions, leaving the audience to kind of connect the dots for themselves. But like I said before, the sheer spectacle of like what you're seeing on screen is enough to blow most people away. So every time I was kind of like, you know, I really don't know if I'm feeling this. Then more action would happen, and the sense of adventure that's in every single frame would pull me back in. Guys, honestly, the biggest problem I have with this movie is the massive changes that they made from the perfectly good plot in the book. But on deeper reflection, I can understand why some of those changes were made by director Steven Spielberg, who I'm not gonna argue with, and author Ernest Cline, who also helped write the screenplay. This is their baby. This was the movie they wanted to make. But gotta respect it. Guys, final verdict, if you're committed to the book, you really might not be able to handle the drastic changes that have been made. But if you haven't read the book and just go in cold, you'll probably have a great time with this movie. I am struggling so hard to give this movie a score. It's so hard to evaluate it for what it is instead of for what it's not. So for right now, tentatively, I'm gonna give Ready Player One a low 7 out of 10. It's an impressive and entertaining synthesis of old school and new school adventure. You might might have to hold on to the story by your fingertips, but you'll still be feeling good by the end, even if you're not quite sure how you got there. Thanks as always for watching, and if you like this video, please leave me a comment below. I love hearing from you guys because it means that somebody's actually watching these and it makes me want to keep making them. So drop me a line below and let me know what you thought of Ready Player One. If you haven't already, make sure you go watch my What's It All About video on Ready Player One, and tune in next week for the next video in the series called Why Should You Care? Lastly, make sure you have a look around my channel for lots more videos about music, ministry, and nerd culture. I'm Gary Mitchell, and we'll see you next time. Stay cool, stay blessed, stay in touch. Wakanda forever.